played him.
What kind of fucking bullshit is like?
Dude, he does this every week.
The bad news is that civilization is crumbling around you.
Wear a dog mask, cut your dick off, bomb Palestine.
The good news is that you are not alone.
There's butthole shaving videos.
I feel bad for the minorities in LA for having to deal with the white people in LA.
You have 5 till midnight, live every Monday at 8 p.m. where you join 5 Limp Bizkit Americans to laugh at the absurd nonsense of the end of history.
Shit show right there.
Sam, stop it!
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to 5 till Midnight. I know I was gone last week. I was opening up for a band called Paradise Kitty. Anyways, today we have our dear friend Tyler Janke with us. Tyler, how you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for inviting me on. I understand we're here to talk cycling, Tour de France. Thanks for having me.
We all kind of do cycling, but I don't think it's all on bikes. I cycle on steroids.
I was gonna be like, what kind of cycling we talking about?
Luke cycles on estrogen, and Adam cycles through his sexuality.
Yo, get Tyler out of here before he breaks this group up. How can you put that up?
I'm all for it.
Damn.
I did a review once of Slurp Gang. They went away. I'm not a podcast, and then I was the Tower Gang producer. Your demise is coming up.
Wait, are we going for 110 podcasts? Is that what we're going for?
Tyler's a real Yoko Ono of podcasting.
I am. Yeah. Shame.
That's fucking crazy, actually.
Yeah,
So-
Viking piece of shit.
Zohran Mamdani.
That's what I'm here for.
Who?
Zohran Mamdani.
Who?
Very American name. He's a
Some
heritage
muzzy.
American.
Very American.
Is that a dish?
Yeah, you eat it with
No,
your hands,
that's
just
this
like he
guy's
does.
name.
Would you rather have
Nice.
a naturalized citizen or a dual citizen for your mayor?
Depends on who they're
Good
dual
question.
citizen
Yeah, it depends. It depends on who the dual citizenship is with.
Yeah.
Well,
they with-
there's only one option for this scenario. So.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a good question.
That's funny, dude.
Because if
5
it was like
years now.
Swedish and American, we go with that guy, you know? But I'm
Yeah.
assuming
Yeah.
it's not going to be that option.
Austrian and American, I'd take that.
Hell, in a heartbeat. Bonus points if he failed art school at some point in his life.
Unfortunately, there's only one kind of a dual citizen that's really allowed to do anything here in America, and it's not the kind of dual citizen that we want.
Well, there's
so-
2 now. Somalian too.
Oh yeah, I guess there is that.
Yeah, we don't live in Minnesota, so it doesn't matter for us.
That's true. I haven't really paid too much attention to this guy.
Oh, great. Thanks for
He's not
sharing.
mayor yet.
Okay, so
Yeah.
basically,
He's the
Zohran
Democratic nominee, though.
He's going to win.
I
Yeah.
think basically this is like the left eating their own and just being too stupid to do anything about it, because all the mayors were asked at one point if they would go visit Israel, and he was the only one that said, I'm just focused on people who live in
I
New
remember
York.
that. I saw
Yeah,
that.
and he ran a campaign talking
It's actually
to
a
people.
good
like-
answer, by the way.
yeah, like he
Great answer.
legitimately ran a campaign that was like concerned about New York. Now, do I think any of his solutions are going to fix any of the problems in New York? No, absolutely not. But at least like on the surface, he seemed to give a shit about New York. And like, you can't say that about any other candidate anymore. And he's really a product of, just everything since October 7th. Eventually, all the kids protesting, they thought they had it under control. And now you get this guy who's a retard, but at least he's a well-meaning retard.
Yeah, but he's like
I-
openly communist. Like he
Well,
just said like the
he's
end is to like
socialist.
seize production or like
Seize the
that's his
means of
goal.
production,
Seize the
yeah.
means of production. Yeah.
Is he saying a white guy that was going to commit suicide was talking to him? I'm not sure what
That's
this
what I
is.
was
Yeah,
trying to
that's
figure
what I
out.
was
I-
all trying to put together.
That's not how I read it. I think it was just a guy sitting on basically like a ledge of like a plant thing. I don't think it was anything
Okay.
about that.
Nah, that's too bad.
So is
Oh,
he
we should
annoyed?
get that white guy to run. That guy sounds awesome.
Also, this is I know the date's right there, but this is from 2014, but people are digging up stuff like this right now.
There's that other one too, where he like a few
it
years
bad?
ago, he's like, I'm the guy representing the last like predominantly white part of Queens, like New York.
Well, here's
Like,
the
he's bragging
thing.
about that.
This guy is he's a rich kid.
Yeah.
They all
They always are.
They always
Yeah,
are.
they all are.
Like, his parents went to Harvard.
Oh, so he has ties to the CIA, is what you're saying.
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I think they broke it down like who voted for him by income, and it was like higher income earners like mostly voted for him, or lower income voters voted for like Cuomo and I don't know, whoever the other.
Yeah, there's no such thing as like a low income earner that's in New York anymore.
Well,
No,
there's
they
a lot of
are. They
people
just
on
live
welfare.
in like Bed-Stuy and fucking and like North Bronx, and that's where they live. They don't live in like the nice part of Manhattan, Kyle. They're not like the Upper East Side. Yeah, of course.
Low income earner is like consistently living off the state and still makes $86,000 a year.
Yeah.
Is there anything
And,
important
New
about
York.
this guy winning? I mean, it's New York. I mean, who lives there
I
anymore?
know it's
You
fucked
guys-
regardless.
Tyler, you should love New York. It's a fucking bicyclist dream. Are you kidding me?
It's not the kind of cycling I like to do. So,
It doesn't matter. We all think it
It's
is.
the kind you like.
That's all that matters.
I live out near the mountains, and so I ride up in the mountains and stuff like that. So the
You live in
city shit
Colorado?
is I want to run those people down too.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I
Okay,
just say that so
we
I'm
agree.
not hated so much on this show.
Yeah. There's difference between city bikers and mountain bikers. We're completely different.
No, we can move on from that or not. No, but seriously, this guy, like, does it matter anything about him? I mean, it's New York City.
No.
It's
No,
socialist.
honestly,
it
no.
matters. This
It's
is
not
the most
really.
prominent mayor in America. It absolutely matters.
Sam, but nothing's going to change. New York, as someone who's from there and grew up there, it's been getting progressively, impressively more and more left and socialist as the years go on.
I
Like,
dude,
this
I
guy's
feel
just
like this
catapulting
is kind of like
forward.
an accident. I think the majority of Democrats are in New York are not happy with this. I think they're not going to be happy with this, but they're going to vote for him anyway.
Yeah, but
Like, a lot of these Democrats are just neoliberals. They're not leftists.
a lot of the
Yeah.
people in New York are.
At least the younger generation. He has a lot of youth behind him.
Yeah, exactly. The younger generation in New York
Yeah,
City
yeah,
are
okay,
fucking
fair. Good
super
point.
left leaning. And also, who they put up was Andrew Cuomo or this guy.
Was it really
Yeah.
just the two of them?
Yes.
Yeah, the
No,
dude
no,
who
there was
yeah,
why.
literally
That's
Panel.
why it's a fluke. They're not happy. Like, it's bad. This is like a presidential election.
the dude who conspired to kill grandmas got rejected for this dude. But like, this is what I mean. Is
yeah,
that,
I
like,
wouldn't vote for
But
Cuomo
Kyle, the
either.
funny part about sorry, Sam, go ahead.
No, that's it. I wouldn't vote for
No,
Cuomo
I was gonna say,
either.
Kyle, the
That
funny part
guy's
about that
terrible.
is like the lefties in New York, they don't care about the COVID thing, right? They care about that he sexually assaulted a woman. That's like what
Right.
they care. Like, it's not even.
I
If he
feel
didn't
like
have
He's
that under his
Italian,
belt,
Kyle. He's just Italian. Leave him alone.
yeah,
That's
just
just what
Italian
like
guys.
is.
New York love is New York tough.
let him fucking touch
Yeah.
pussies. God,
Yeah.
I had a guy get upset with me for using the term WAP on Twitter the other day.
Really?
No.
you're not allowed to
Today.
use that word. You fucking Mick.
Yeah, whatever. WAP.
Yeah.
Shit.
You Dago WAP Guido loser. Vote blue by.
By Bo Blue. No,
Yeah,
by-
he wants to tax whiter neighborhoods. Why can't you just say rich? Like, if the rich neighborhood also happens to be more white, it's already covered, dude. Like, if there's a poor white neighborhood, you're just going to tax them more? I don't think that exists in New York, but, like,
It doesn't.
why do that,
He's playing to his base. That's why.
asshole?
He's playing to his base. I mean, this is. I hope. I mean, he's going to win, but I mean, I hope he wins, and I hope he implements what he says he's going to do, and it blows up in their face because that's what's going to happen.
He wants to do that. The price set like grocery stores, like government run grocery
It's
stores,
insane.
like the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let him.
Let him.
Fuck it. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I don't live there.
Watch
Who
it
gives a
fall
fuck? Yeah.
off into the ocean. I don't.
What I found to be the most interesting thing was the like a lot of the boomer cons reaction to this guy. Like, they try to paint him off as like this super Muslim dude. And I don't know, every time I watch a video of him, I don't really get like, oh, he's a Muslim vibes. I get like he's like every third worldist, commie leftist that I know in politics at the time. Like, I didn't see anything that, but they freaking out like he's this, you know, Al Qaeda guy. And listen,
he's definitely not an Islamist.
Well,
Yeah,
anytime you see someone like this that's like for Palestine, dude, it's total boomer slop because they could say, "Oh,
Yeah.
look, this is Muslims taking over the country," and it's like, well,
So
you know, anytime I hear somebody say that, I'm like, this is just usually a distraction from the people who actually have a lot of lobbying power within the country. It's just it's total boomer bait.
Yeah,
Dude, it's like we could do for moving closer to Sharia law, not Sharia law, but like we're moving away from Sharia law to like
Right.
the opposite. We're not moving towards Sharia law. It's the dumbest like Glenn Beck tier 2002 bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
well,
opens up a massive hypocrisy that's coming from the conservatives because, like, fine, like I understand that you might not want a Muslim person to run the major city in America, but is there any other religious groups that you don't want in positions of power, or is it just Muslims? You know, and this is like, it's just very obvious that this is like a hypocrisy on their part. Like, oh, we have to protect the West because we're like a Christian nation. I've been seeing this a lot. It's like, okay, well, that's like kind of a double standard when there's other groups of people that are not Muslim, like
non-Western
Hindus or I don't know, Jewish people. Like there just seems to be a lot of that happening, and no one freaked out. I have a Jewish governor in Illinois. No one
Yeah.
freaked out
Pennsylvania.
when he took over my state. There was no freak out about it.
I think
This guy being
if I'm being
Muslim
honest,
is
I
not
think
a problem. It's
I
not
think
on
it's-
the top 10 problems. It's not
Right.
a problem at all.
I legitimately think, and
does.
this isn't like because they're racist thing. It's more of like when you see a Muslim, they look distinctly different than white people, so it's easier to kind of pin that down as a like, oh, this person's different, and therefore we're going to associate them with Muslim. Whereas when somebody is Jewish, they're typically white, right? So it's not like the difference isn't that apparent. Well, yeah, no, but you get what I'm saying. Like their
I know.
their complexion is the same. I know
Yes.
people argue about this. I think it's so dumb, but like, yeah, I get why people go the way.
Yeah.
They do.
Well,
Yeah.
Kyle, to
All
your
those
point
memes,
earlier,
dude,
I
they're
think
like, oh, they're white, and everybody's like, underneath the comments on Twitter, they're like, are they though?
yeah,
Are
that's
they
me. I'm
really
I'm writing
white?
those comments.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear,
all of us.
Ashkenazi Jews are pretty much European, and they're extraordinarily close ethnically to Italians.
We do not
Stop
care.
bringing me into
Wow.
everything. I don't like
that's
that.
just the truth, man.
I don't like that at all.
Italians.
I don't like that at all.
Sam
I
legitimately hates Italians. I think
I really
he's
don't,
white
but-
people. Like it is always slandering them on the show. I would never do that to my friend publicly.
Thanks, Typo. That's why I like you more.
Dude, but like he's pretty white. Like he's like Zohran, whatever. Like he was born in
Yeah,
Uganda,
it's totally
but
white.
like
His name's Zoran.
ethnically Indian. Like
He was
well,
born
no,
in
what I'm
Uganda?
saying is like
I didn't
even know that.
European.
Uganda.
Indian?
He started
Like
a cricket
Caucasian.
team in his high school, though. We should talk about. I mean, you don't like cyclists. Cricket,
Yeah.
Yeah,
cricket's-
they're both pretty gay.
one's worse. A lot of Indians do cricket. Mostly white people do cycling.
Is that because
But this
the
guy's
British-
Selling
like
me
not
on it.
really Indian though.
Damn it.
He would be a Pakistani today
Oh,
Well, let's
really?
make him that.
because he's
Yeah,
Muslim.
who cares? It's all the same.
But he'd be like Pakistani people are lighter complexion. I mean, not that I give a fuck. It's just like it's a thing. They're lighter complexion than Indians mostly. But like even for an Indian or a Pakistani person at the time, they were the same thing. It was British India. It was the same country,
Yeah.
Bangladesh. Like Pakistani people are and Punjabis as well are much like they're like closer to Iranians, which are like Iran comes from Aryan, like they're Indo-European people. Oh, like a lot higher percentage of it.
Aren't
Yeah,
aren't Pakistanis mostly Muslim?
I believe so, yeah.
Mostly, yes.
Okay.
There was a whole thing in like 1948 or something, like when the British left, the British India split up. British.
Sorry, stop
British
listening.
India-
Sorry, see, I stopped listening as soon as Gilmore said
British
silence
India
orangutan.
split
No one
up
cares.
into West Pakistan and East Pakistan, and then India. And India is mostly Hindu with a minority of Muslims and Christians, whereas Pakistan, West Pakistan and East Pakistan are majority Muslim.
Sam, I have a question. What is the difference between being a European and an Indo-European?
Well, I changed it to Indo-European because, like, obviously they're not European because they're not from Europe, but like genetically more similar to European people.
I was just curious because I know Iran is considered like
what
the land
Stash
of the
said.
Aryans, which is
Right.
weird.
Because
Is he building a mosque or a call center at Ground Zero? Which one?
I didn't even see that's going.
The Indo-Europeans, like the Aryans or Indo-Europeans, same thing. They went both east and west, and they like took over Europe, which had like the Western hunter-gatherer, or one of them is an Indo-European group, but there were people already living there. Like, because the earlier Homo sapiens in like their culture survives in the Sardinians and the Basque people of mostly Spain and France, and they took over and they genetically replaced most of the population to varying degrees, and they also went east to India, to what's now India, Pakistan, and Iran, and they're pretty much genetically heavily in Iran. Heavily, a little bit less in Afghanistan, and then even less, but still heavily in northern India, high caste Indians, and Pakistan to varying degrees. And like
high caste Indians are more Indo-European.
Yes, they have
What?
genetic differences that survived for thousands of years because of how strict they were about interbreeding with different castes. That's where it comes
That
from.
is so they're like racist.
Oh, they're super racist.
Dude, yes. They
Yeah.
all
Was
are.
that
Everyone
Asia?
is.
Asia is the most racist continent. Like South Asia, like India, the subcontinent, is like pretty distinct from East and Southeast Asia. But that's the most racist place in the world.
But that's like a
Yeah, that's that
racist.
Tom Segura
America
bit
needs
where
to
he's
up
like,
their game. We need to
Yeah,
take
I
that
agree
number
with
one
that.
spot.
We're like, dude, we're like T-ball racist compared to a Japanese person.
They need to come into our group chats because that's not.
Yeah, we need some Japanese racism.
Is that a
fucking
challenge?
taunts.
Dude, Japanese racism is dope. I love them.
It's
They
insane.
automatically thought, like, they knew, like, we were stationed there, right? And they knew that
disagree.
there's plenty of Marines in Japan, and they would just see a black Marine walking out in town, not dressed in Marine Corps attire, and they'd be like, "Are you a rapper? Do you play basketball?" Like, just straight up. They didn't give a fuck.
And the guy had to be like, "Yeah, but how'd you know?"
That's not racist. That's just racial, though. But
Did
yes,
you see that?
they
You
don't
see that,
have
Well,
racial
when you
hang-ups.
called him the N-word, I thought that was
Okay,
pretty
well
extreme.
that's
Yeah.
Did you see the Chinese people when the basketball teams, because you know, like the Chinese hires like ex NBA players a lot, like guys who couldn't make it in the league to go play basketball over there. There's a bus going by just full of like black Americans, and they're just like yelling at the hard R the whole entire time.
Solid.
They don't care. They don't care.
Yeah,
Japan's dope, dude.
Japan and
Wait,
China
who's
actually
this
kind of rule.
that we're looking at now.
Japan sounds like my mom, but she's not Asian.
This is his mom. The person before was his dad. They both went to
His-
Harvard.
Spouse. So is Mitch Epstein his dad?
Oh boy.
What do you mean, Mitch
Spouses.
Epstein? This guy is his dad. They both
Well,
went
if
to
you go
Harvard.
back to that last person, it said their spouse was Mitch Epstein. You go back to the girl. Spouses, Mitch Epstein. Oh, divorced in 1987. Bro,
Whoa.
he does have ties
What is
to the
going
CIA.
on?
Wow,
What
are
is
the odds?
going on, dude?
Pretty
What
high.
is-
Wow.
Who's this?
No,
fucking
this is a deli
Jay?
J.
Nice catch there, Luke.
This is a deli J.
Deli.
How do you know it's a deli J, dude?
Because he was a photographer.
That sounds like a good cover to be in
Under-
Massage.
So was the other Epstein. He was taking a lot of pictures. As
No,
well.
this guy,
Discount his credit.
you don't survive as a Zionist at the Rhode Island School of Design. This is one of the most. This is an art school. This is a prestigious art school in New England. This is like, this place. They're probably like legitimately anti-Semitic.
Oh, sweet.
Well, he survived.
Clearly
so-
not. He went there.
Wait, there's legit
Yeah.
anti-Semitism?
He went there in like 1970.
No.
Yeah, there's obviously.
Yeah, it's called
legit
5 till midnight.
Yes.
Yes. The family business.
I know Kyle
the family
thinks of
business?
himself as an anti-Semite, but Kyle, I buy books that are there was a secret relationship between blacks and Jews. Have you gone this far yet?
No, I'm sorry, I
It's
haven't.
secret?
All right, well,
Fuck.
get in line.
That's pretty good.
Kyle's
That's pretty
still
out
learning
there.
how to read. He only knows music notes.
Yeah, no,
That's
I don't
actually
even
more
know
impressive.
that. Yeah, I don't know. Believe me, I don't know music notes either. So no. Doc,
Really?
Doc one off my report card.
Oh, maybe you are retarded.
Yeah,
Fucking
I put on like a
block,
smart person,
dude.
but believe me, I'm not.
Well, then we just have Sam going on diatribes like he's on illegitimate scholars. So
Yeah,
It was relevant. Sorry.
kind of.
Yeah. We should have gotten
Yeah,
orangutan
for
to
someone-
explain it to us. Would have been
He
more
always
entertaining.
claims he doesn't know shit about like genetics, but then he goes off on like a long
quit.
tangent about the genetic heritage of some people. I'm like, yeah, you know a lot about genetics, dude.
He's well, he can't quit and then leave that up there. I don't care about Mitch Epstein, dude.
Yeah, look at this
I can
guy.
get it off. It's fine.
All right.
Here we ready? Bam. No more
Is
Mitch
there
Epstein,
anything else
boys.
fun in the
There we
news
go.
right now?
Well, the
Yes,
Idaho
have you
shooters
seen
thing.
all oh yeah, well yeah. I mean that's kind of interesting. I don't understand why it happened. Like, oh, we lost typo. I don't
we
understand
did.
who hates firemen so much that happens. I don't get it.
No, I don't know. I
Is it a
think it
former
was,
cop?
they
Like,
said it was a.
what the fuck?
That's why I said,
They
yeah. They
beat
said
him
it
in
was a 20-year-old.
Did they beat him in the
Can I tell you
the softball fucking championship or what?
Can I tell you the day I hated firemen? I'll tell you the moment.
Yeah,
I remember the moment I hated firemen. It was 4th of July, and I was working like 15, 20 hours, and I was like sweating. I was like on the beach, like in Staten Island, just like doing all this shit. So many fights, so many drunks. And then it's like nighttime, and like it's finally quieting down. I'm like drenched in sweat, and the fireworks start going off over the ocean. And there's like 7 firemen just sitting on top of their fire trucks, like kicking their feet back and forth, being like, "Oh, look at that one!" I'm like, "Fuck you guys!" And it was just, that's the day I fucking hated them. It was their easy fucking job.
They're shitty. They're shitty in family law. They're like cops. They're very arrogant.
True.
Yeah, I've seen that too. It's got to be a big city thing. All the firemen that I knew, like actually knew, were from a small city where my dad lived, and it was all volunteer. So like they just got shit on all the time. But other than that,
It was
probably
like a
big city
20-year-old
cops or big city
20-year-old kid.
firefighters.
Yeah. Do you think it was
Really?
just him?
No, I don't even believe the story. So I don't believe anything. I mean, that was a pretty coordinated. I mean, he got a lot of shots and landed a lot of targets. I don't know, man. Also, how did it take so long to find him? Like, there was like 4 helicopters in the. I don't know. It was weird.
Well, they had a
That's pretty
fire.
wild.
So, I think they said
True.
the drones, they didn't want the drones out there anymore. So it could have been, and it was on a kind of a mountain, and it's forestry out there. So it could be somewhat difficult. It's south of where, what's his name? Oh, now I'm forgetting. Lon Haruchi killed he and his family out there. The touchstone that tipped off everything for Randy Weaver. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ruby Ridge.
Yeah, Ruby Ridge. So it's south from there. It's over by Spokane, Washington, but it's very mountainous and forestry, and so.
wow.
Was there some other like
Did-
Ruby Ridge type event that happened recently too? I saw people talking about it, or were they just referencing this being close to where Ruby Ridge happened, and that's why I saw something about Ruby Ridge?
I don't know. In that
probably
area,
that.
there's the Aryan Nation's pretty. They've had a contingency over there, for quite some time.
The
Hayden, Idaho.
organization that I saw referenced, though, disbanded in between 2001 and 2004. That was bullshit. Like
The
it might
Patriot
be
Front
something.
did a march over there. I want to say a year and a half, 2 years ago in Coeur d'Alene too.
There are a lot of militias, both sides over there.
Huh. Interesting.
Keebler
know
says
that.
the Aryan Nation's no longer in that area.
Well,
Yeah, that was some BS from a communist group. I saw it earlier. Before we get off India, though, I do want to play this.
We're off India.
You guys are gonna love this. So this is Lord
You
Miles.
quit.
Yeah.
I came back. This is Lord Miles. He flew to Pakistan to retrieve his AirPods that
I saw
Yeah,
that.
he's been saying he was
Yeah.
gonna do this for like 6 months, and it's so funny that he did.
So what happened is that an Indian guy stole them and sold them to an unknowing Pakistani guy.
How does this?
And this is what he said
every time
on Pakistani TV.
The Indian thief is scum of the earth. Many Indians, they come from a very corrupt system, a corrupt country, and a corrupt religion. That's fake. They praise a god. They praise their god, which is a cow, and not a real man. And that's why the Indians are not real men themselves, and that's why they end up being thieves. They stole my AirPods when I trusted them to come into my hotel room and clean my room, but they stole my property, and they sold it to a Pakistani man who is now out of pocket because of this situation. I don't like India. I have never had a good situation with India. I believe India is full of 1.4 billion problems. I don't know a single good Indian man from many interactions. My greatest fear in life is that there is a, I believe, 20% chance if I was born, I would be Indian. This is no good. I want to say, India, shame on you for stealing my AirPods. You're no good. Scum of the earth, I spit on your wife's beard.
Your wife's beard. Yeah,
gonna
no, Mark.
play
I was
that
gonna
again.
say this was the guy
You're
who wants
no
to invade
good.
Haiti, which I kind of would love to see. That'd be fucking sick.
Yes. I mean, I talked to this guy. I sort of know him. I wouldn't say we're friends, but we're acquainted. He follows me. No big deal. So does Eric Prince. No big
I
deal.
want to say, India, shame on you for stealing my AirPods. You're no good. Scum of the earth, I spit on your wife's beard. But these AirPods were covered by Pakistanis, good men. I want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you. You put your brothers in India to shame.
My God.
So
funny.
Doesn't Pakistan and India aren't they both nuclear powers?
Yes.
And
Yes.
is he going to start a war with this? I can see India, clapping back at Pakistan for this.
The Great
Might be
AirPod
good.
War of 2025.
I don't know. They just had a little thing where they had some dog fights. Like they've fought several wars.
That might be the only
We
time
talked
if
about this-
nukes flew, no one would care. They'd be like, "That's great. That just solves a bunch of problems
Yeah,
for
Yeah,
everybody."
do you really
1.4
want
billion of
to?
them?
Yeah, if you fly nukes over there, what do you want to do? Do you want to bounce all the turds laying on the ground? Like, what's wrong with you?
Imagine the smell. Oh
Yeah,
my god!
my God.
You ever have like a bag of poop, like a dog poop out in the sun too long? Just now
Yeah.
amplify that by a cajillion.
Yeah, my God.
Jeez.
Or like your
That
dog
just
takes a
walks
shit on
back
a hot day and then you walk past it.
Yeah, it's rough.
Would that waft around like the nuclear fallout clouds? Like, would just like travel around afterwards? Just incinerate India?
Probably. I don't know. I don't know
No.
science. One way fucking ask Sam again to give us a 45-minute explanation of fucking mushroom fallout clouds.
There you go.
I was
If it's
going to
real.
bring this up. We brought this up once on. We brought this up once on our show, but the India-Pakistan border fights with sticks are incredible. Stash just
Oh,
put in the
yeah.
comment.
Oh, I've
They're
seen those.
Yeah, they're pretty great. So the has your guys' like get on TikTok or Instagram or anything lately, and you like scroll through Reels or your For You page, and it's just like military hype videos right now.
Mhm.
You guys, dude.
Yeah.
I sent somebody, and I was talking to one of my buddies here, and I was like, dude, I'm joining. I want to be in the Battle of LA. Let's get this shit going, dude. It's so hype right now, and I think part of it is like the fatigue is real, and people are getting tired of a
Yeah.
lot of shit. And I think the propaganda machine's spinning up again. I'm not saying there's World War III coming down after everything with Iran and Israel, but I think there's something coming down the pipe because it has been all over my feed today.
What's the speech with the guy who received the Medal of Honor recipient when he's like,
Yeah.
He's like, I promise you one thing, you don't want your sons and daughters to be raised by that speech gets me fucking fired up.
Oh yeah.
Well, you guys know what I'm talking about? The rest of you?
No.
Sam, can you find it without like music?
No.
I'll find it. I'll try.
Because
And
if you
find
play
it real
music,
quick.
we'll get pulled. I'm telling you right now. There can't be any like.
Yeah,
song
there's
behind it.
always it's hard to find because there's always an edit with it like
I
background
know, but
music
the
now.
edit with the song makes it go so much
Yeah, no,
harder.
it does.
Is this
it
an
does.
American?
Yes.
Yes, he's in.
Because I was
Yeah,
thinking you were
he's in
talking
the
about
army.
in Canada where they honored that guy, but he was an actual Nazi. Because that went pretty hard.
No, that's
too.
that's
I don't-
base too. But no, this is an American guy.
Oh, was he like Ukrainian? Is that what that was?
Yes. He was a legitimate Ukrainian Nazi.
That's pretty hilarious, actually.
Yeah. They gave him a standing ovation in the Canadian Parliament.
What's his name? John, the comedian that used to do
Jon
the Daily
Stewart.
Show. John
Stewart?
Did he introduce him, or he had a picture with him, or something like that? It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
I don't remember if that was a different guy, but there have been multiple
Nazis.
Ukrainian, very literal Nazis praised by different Western governments, both ours and Canada's. Canada's was very overt in their parliament, but yes, it's
Was
insane.
he
And
like
he's Jewish.
legitimately in the Nazi party, or was this like an Azov battalion guy?
Azov battalion. No, yeah. Well, no, there was. I think there was a guy, not that guy, but like Azov battalion, Sonnenrad tattoo,
Gotcha,
undeniably
okay.
a Nazi. Like
Yeah,
Sonnenrad rising, like the sun, whatever the circle. He had that tattoo. Like this was a Nazi, neo-Nazi. But then there was actual Nazis as well, like Nazis, not neo-Nazis.
Like served in the SS? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like with the Ukrainian like SS.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, find
Dude,
that
you could
video.
find actually a lot of European countries served in some sort of SS brigade somewhere. France, a lot of Slav countries.
It's Staff Sergeant David Belavia.
That's
and
it.
I found, he was a Medal of Honor recipient. I found it, so I'm presenting.
Is it musicless?
No, yeah, it's musicless
Okay. Throw it in here.
on Twitter.
Listen to the speech.
Am I sharing?
Now imagine with awesome music behind it, though.
Be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Such a good line, dude.
Savage.
That line
So
is
savage.
That line goes so hard.
Israeli. He's talking about Israelis.
Oh my god, not as cool.
Not cool.
Not cool at all. That just put a bad spin on the video. Now I'm depressed.
I remember
I heard it.
I remember it was funny too because me and Luke, I guess maybe because we obviously joined the military, so that kind of propaganda kind of works on us a little bit, you know? It's kind of badass
bit.
to us. But I remember like one of our libertarian friends like, "This is so fucked up. It's so sick," and I was like, "Dude, that was the coolest speech I've ever seen in my life."
Right.
This is awesome, actually.
Yeah. Actually,
I mean,
pretty
if you're
awesome.
like a natural boy growing up and you hear that kind of stuff, you're like, yeah, I'm charged.
That's what I'm saying. If you
Yeah.
love, like, if you're like an adrenaline junkie or like just want to beat up minorities, that's a video for you.
Dude, you guys ever seen the? Oh God, what's that? I can't remember the. It's like a cop and he's about to fight Antifa. It's a commercial for like a brand.
Yes.
Is it grunt
Oh,
style?
yeah.
Is it grunt style?
I
Find
think
that
it
one,
might have
Luke,
been
if
grunt
you can.
style.
Because that one was
has
badass.
music though.
Like it was like during like me and Luke were like peak and cap. Like we're like screw every government, whatever. Like anyone that works for the government. And we watched that video and was like, dude, that
We
goes
were
hard
gay.
as fuck. I
That's
love
what he's trying to
that right now.
Dude, man, we really are just retarded. We could just get fooled by anything cool.
I know, dude.
We
What he was
suck.
like, he was getting ready to beat up like some commie Antifa fucks, and we were like, yeah, beat the fuck out of that guy, dude. You know, like,
Yeah.
like I don't know. I just got so amped about it. And I was like, dude, I don't know why, but I fell for it. I want to be a cop now.
Yeah, I'm like, war's bad. And then you see like some cool bombing run. You're like, that was pretty fucking sick, though. It's like so easy to just fucking
I know, dude.
trap our dumb brains.
Like you're at a baseball game and the national anthem, and they fucking
Yeah.
sing the jets
Yeah.
over, and you're like, let's go, dude. We'll kill
every
anyone. Like,
Navy game every year. I'm like, dude, sick. When they do the fucking fly over and shit.
yeah, instantly works, dude.
And that's why the
The
military
stealth. They
pays
even
to
bring
do
this.
that.
They bring the stealth bomber sometimes. You're like, oh, I'm sick.
Yeah. I remember when the military did like the giant like e-girl campaign or like try to get like hot chicks like very recently to try to get hot chicks to like get young dudes. I'm like, you just got to do more cool machine stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's how dudes will go. Like you don't need to do all the hot chicks. No one cares.
They'll connect it to the hot chicks themselves because they think that's how it works,
Right.
and it's not.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember there was a big I don't know this. I have no idea who the streamer was, but it was some like OnlyFans girl, but she does like a lot of Twitch streaming or something. And she's wearing like a provocative army shirt, but it says like army across it. It was like, oh my god, dude, we're going to war. Like,
They got white guys in the commercials. Terrible.
Yeah, when you see that, that's the real fucking red flag. You're like, oh,
man. It's over.
I'm in
it's
danger.
fucking over.
You find that video, Luke?
I found it on YouTube, but it has "Oh Beautiful," America Beautiful. That's gonna get us pulled.
I
No.
might.
Yes.
It's not. I don't know.
Yes.
It's not. Don't listen to Tyler. He
Yes.
broke up multiple podcasts.
It will.
Don't listen.
It will get us pulled because the song is in the public domain, but the recordings aren't.
That's a weird twist.
That
works.
You might not be able to play it then, because I think all of them are gonna have that music.
You could play. We could perform it ourselves. Like Kyle could grab his guitar and he could sing it and play it, but we can't.
You could do
play
Jimi
it.
Hendrix
No,
style?
no. Actually, that's not true. That's not true because I've put up videos of my band playing cover songs, and they will give you a monetization sharing thing. So like
Oh,
we
so
did
they make money off it.
It
Yeah,
depends.
exactly.
It depends on how they have it set. So it's a risk that we shouldn't take, and we shouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Guys, can we get real
Having
technical real quick and just
conversation
ruin the
about
flow?
it is fucked. Like, Jesus.
I do have to go. I gotta pick my wife who's drunk at a party. So
Okay.
I will.
He's gotta go pick up. I spit on your wife's beard.
Yeah, that's no. Actually, no.
Well,
But
no, I'm sorry. I should have.
no, shut up, Twink.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah,
Love you guys, Tyler.
Go do what
Thanks
your
for
wife
joining.
tells you to.
Yeah, thanks,
you little
Adam.
subby boy.
I will.
Yeah, okay. All right. I would too.
Love you guys. Bye.
So,
Wow.
I wonder, did you see Rex? I wonder how many of the 1,200 dudes that did Bonnie Blue were active duty or vets.
Oh,
That's
man.
probably.
Well, she's British. I don't know if she did that in America.
I
still,
mean,
British
vets
military.
are just
Yeah.
as bad.
Dude, there might be
I've
worse,
watched-
actually.
They might be.
They actually
I've watched two dudes. I watched one dude give another dude a blowjob in a game of gay chicken.
Oh, you told that story
And-
before. It's so
yeah.
disgusting. Why
Royal
you
Royal
left,
Marines.
right?
What
Oh,
part
yeah,
of the chicken were
absolutely.
you though? Because I mean,
I wasn't in
even
it.
just
I wasn't in
well,
it.
It sounds
Yeah,
like you
they
were.
They were
I
like,
saw it and I was like, "That's gay," and then walked out. I was like,
Dude.
"Nope, this is too far."
Those
that-
guys would like get married, adopt a black and an Asian kid, and open up a B&B in Vermont, and they would like pretend that it was part of the whole thing.
Yeah. If you guys want to see that video, though, it's
the
the
guys sucking
Oh,
each other?
the guys blowing each other, gay chicken.
Yeah, you filmed
No.
it too.
The commercial, the
Epstein.
riot police commercial. God, Luke Epstein.
Did
The
he
riot
finish?
police
Yeah.
commercial. It's called "This Commercial Would Have Changed the World," and it's on YouTube. It's by Grunt Style. But yeah, it's fucking dope. Makes you want to be a riot policeman. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Battle of LA, like, fuck how the movie
Yeah.
portrayed it. We're not fighting it. We're still
I think
fighting aliens, just not the same kind.
Yeah, I think it came out in like 2021 too, so it was like right after like all the riots and shit that went down. So
Yeah.
it went hard.
Yo, like
That's
the
pretty
video. I bet you guys on here didn't even like the video. Like the video, subscribe if you're not, or
Did
don't.
not.
I'm not your dad. I don't care.
Did Luke finish?
thank God. Thank
Jesus.
God he's gone. No, he.
How was?
Wow,
Well,
it's just pretty soon it's just gonna be me. Like, I don't know.
I
what's
know,
going on.
dude.
All right, all
You
right.
broke up another one. You broke up another one, Tyler.
Adam's
God
not
damn it.
here. He can't save you.
This. It's a different
Well, I did-
position every time too. It's great.
I still thought that the them ending birthright system was actually pretty crazy.
Well, is it ended, or is it just like the groundwork is available for him to do it?
It's weird because
think
it
it's
seems
over.
like
no, it's not.
I know he did like an
Oh.
executive order on this
Yeah.
in like his first month, and we didn't really hear anything about it, and now it seems to be done. But it's so hard to follow Trump on this specific issue because, like, you know, I'm sure everybody remembers he said like a week or two ago, "Oh, we're not going to go after like the farmers, the hotel workers, and all that."
Yeah.
And then literally like 2 days later, he said, "No, we actually are." And then now we hear
Yeah.
that they're having an
So
exemption
flip-floppy.
again. It's just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I
Here's
understand.
the deal with the birthright. So he did an executive order. Then a judge did a nationwide injunction, basically saying this can't go forward. And the Supreme Court said you can't do a nationwide injunction. So they didn't rule on birthright citizenship. The executive order is still in place, I think, to go in 30 days. And there's some lawsuits about it. So it'll have to be worked out whether it's legit or not. But that's where we are on that.
Do you think, I mean, do you think they'll get rid of it? Do you think that's going to happen?
You know, when it initially was, when he proposed it, I was like, no. And then there was some pretty good scholarly work that's gone through it. And it could, I mean, I would be glad if the 14th Amendment just went away altogether.
Yeah.
But that's my thing. And maybe this will do it. You know, it was never really actually ratified correctly. So there's some precedent to maybe they could just have this whole thing discussed and litigated. But it probably won't go that way as far as birthright citizenship. But I don't know. Let's just give it a shot. See what happens.
Yeah. What would be the determination to be a citizen if birthright citizen was removed?
Well, so I guess it would be your parents were citizens or you become naturalized. Because I think that's what the case was. It was the original one. Some Chinese came over here and they weren't citizens, or maybe, I don't think they were. And then they had a child. And so then they're like, you know, kind of the anchor baby style. So yeah, gotcha. I don't know enough. And you know, I could look into it for you. We get back to offline.
It's okay. I mean, you just I don't know shit about this stuff, and I know that you're a lawyer of some kind. So my brain's like, lawyer must know everything about the fucking law. So
yeah, I do family law, so I'm a little more niche there. But I try to do some of this interesting constitutional stuff. But I, like you, just hear what other people say.
Gotcha.
Do you? With family law, do you deal with a lot of CPS stuff or no?
So tangentially. So if there's an actual CPS case, because it's in a little bit different courtroom, I send them to an attorney that just deals with that. But we often have, you know, CPS issues that drift into our realm. And, you know, someone reports someone, and so CPS gets involved to do a report. That's it. But now you do have cases where it's just CPS has come in. There's not a divorce. There's not custody issue. And they just come in and then it's in their own dependency court. And no, I don't do those. But yeah, we see it all the time.
Gotcha.
Why? Do you got an issue you want to talk about?
No. I don't have any kids or nothing like that. I just saw something recently. It was like CPS, and I can't remember the court case. I feel like it was in 2019 or something like that. But they were basically, it was 3 judges, and they were asking it seemed like the head of one CPS office, and they were like, so your person lied in a court case and perjured themselves, but it was legal you're saying that it's legal and there's precedent for them to do so. And it was just pretty wild. And I was just wondering how often you saw.
So I actually know what you're talking about. That was in California, which is where I live. And that was, I think the Ninth Circuit, they actually had an appeal. So a CPS worker lied to, you know, protect the child or whatever, completely erroneous. So they were filing suit against this person specifically and CPS, and she tried to use qualified immunity, saying, you know, this is part of my job. I get to do this. And the judge is like, you get to lie as part of your job. So that one got
under oath. Yeah.
Wow. So you get
it was
to
pretty
commit
wild.
Perjury for your job. That's
even the
insane.
California court said you couldn't. So
that I would honestly, even in California, I would be shocked if they let that through. That's insane.
Yeah.
So was that person arrested?
Well, I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
They should have been. That's more than just perjury. They could have taken someone's child away. That person should be in prison.
They did take him away.
Yeah,
then that person should be in prison for the amount of time that the child was taken away.
I mean, honestly, CPS is such a weird thing. Like, I understand why at some point we were like, maybe this is a good idea, but I mean, like with most government agencies or tangentially government agencies, they take way too much power and are able to do so much stuff that it's just crazy to me. And I see more and more, probably because I looked up stuff I get more and more CPS like type videos, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on with CPS? So I was just wondering.
It's all like war, and because your algorithm's all like, let's go to war, and it's CPS.
Yeah, no
CPS,
joke.
CPS is horrible. They can ruin your life and your family, or they can save kids. And I don't ever know which one you're gonna get when something happens. So it's crazy.
Yeah. What do you deal with the most
to have them
in family law?
What was that?
What do you deal with the most in family law? Like what's
so for me, most of it a divorce, and then custody issues, and then domestic violence restraining orders, which are can be used in those cases or separately, and those are evil and not good. So I don't like those. The standard is so easy to get a restraining order, and then when you get a restraining order against someone. So if you think of criminal aspects, right, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, for civil in family law and in most civil stuff, it's just preponderance of the evidence, which is just 50% more likely than not it's the case. So you go in there and you're like, hey, this person disturbed my peace, or they beat the shit out of me, and you lie about it, and then they get a restraining order against them. Then they have to turn their guns in. That's your fundamental rights are then just taken away. And so that's pretty, so when you think of like the drift off of that, you get someone the restraining order with an easy standard, and now their Second Amendment rights are taken away from them pretty good. Wow. I do know this stuff.
That's crazy.
Are you sure you're a lawyer? No, I'm just Yeah, I think that's what I've always wondered that about restraining orders. It always seems like it's pretty easy to get one, and then extremely difficult to get one thrown out. Yeah, so I don't know if this is even interesting to you guys, but since you're asking, so how you get them is you just file a motion in court, and the judge just reads your pleadings, maybe some evidence, and they issue a temporary restraining order or not, and then set a hearing. So the other person doesn't even know about it. So it just happens. It's one-sided, and then you get a hearing, and then you go into that hearing, and you've got to defend yourself, or you can set it for a trial or whatnot. So yeah, and when this happens, let's say you have kids. This happens a lot. Wife says, "I want the kids." She files a restraining order. Maybe you called her too early in the morning. It's disturbing your peace. They grant it. Now the kids are protected, so the dad doesn't have his kids. And by the time you get this all resolved, it could be 6 months down the road, and he hasn't seen his kids forever. And since he's pissed off about that, he's violating the restraining order over and over and over. So now when you go to trial, you're not even interested in the underlying issue. It's all the violations, and you're just screwed. So I see this just like every day. It's crazy. Yeah.
That's horrible.
You can't live in California.
These are universal, by the way. These are not just to California. There's a actual Domestic Violence Restraining Orders Act, a national thing. So it's just pervasive, and just this is so depressing.
You're good.
Okay. What's interesting too is you have the red states and your blue states, right? And the red states, the conservatives, they're all about men and taking care of the family, and then your blue states, isn't that the way it is? Yeah, the blue states are your Democrats are a piece of shit like California. However, California and most of these blue states have in their constitution and their codes that you have a presumption of having 50-50 custody of your children. So you get divorced, you want to do, or just paternity, you're starting out with the ability to have a 50-50 presumption. These red states don't have that. So you go to Texas and you're like, hey, I want it. And they're like, you're a guy. You might not be able to have your kids yet. And the reason a lot of these do is because under Social Security Act Title 4D, I think is what it is. It's the states get money for child support. And so if you don't get the dads to have the presumption of custody, you're actually going to get more state dollars to enforce these actions against men. Insane. And they're all just blue states. And it's the most crazy thing out there. Yeah. But, if the Republicans are family, but yet they don't want to allow dads to have their kids like that. So.
That's so fucking crazy. It is interesting. I think that was like kind of Kyle's area was like that red pill type stuff. And a lot of it came out, or a lot of stuff that came out of it was like divorce courts and how it affects men and things like that. And it's always interesting to hear people talk about it that are well more read up on it than I am, obviously. And it's just, I think it's insane the double standard that's there when it comes to men. And then when you see exactly what you just stated, like the Republican states versus the more Democratic states and how they treat it inside their own like policies.
But if you want to trans your kid, you do come to California. You got a chance for that.
Have you seen anything like that?
Well, so the standard for getting your kids and how they have custody is the best interest of the child. And in there, in California now, it's codified in the code that if you don't have gender affirming care for your child, if they want to transition and you're not on board, that might not be in the best interest of the child. So that can be used against you. Yeah. So it's pretty shitty there. I will say about the men's rights stuff, that's fine, but a lot of it's bullshit, I think, as well. Yeah. Men become victims and then they don't do what they need to prepare.
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah. And I see that a lot. But, in California, you can get, custody just fine if you're not a piece of shit and you take it seriously. So,
yeah.
Wow.
That was not my best friend went to California court, and that was not his experience at all. Maybe
he's just not telling you the truth.
Around LA. No, I mean, this is my best friend, and I've followed it for years, and I've been in the room when he's talking to his girlfriend. Unless he is completely fabricated his entire life, it's not.
So I'm somewhat joking, and of course that's not every case. Everything is different. But I do find this a lot where people come in and they're like, okay, here's my issues. And I'm like, okay, let me see all your filings. And I go through them and you're like, okay, well, you're not telling me the whole story, or maybe you don't understand. There's things just called courts of law.
I'm sorry, before I interrupt, or before you keep going, I just want to interrupt to tell you one key detail is that he lives in Texas, not California. And I think that's part of the custody and why it's an issue.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mentioned that before, which is Texas is a little bit different. So,
well, it's all in California courts, but he doesn't live in California.
Well, okay, so is he not living where the child does?
Yeah.
Yes.
He doesn't live where the child does.
No, he doesn't.
Okay. Well, sorry to burst your bubble, men. Your wife takes your child. We have I don't know. You guys all know Andy, Garbage Main. His baby mama took their child to Texas, got a court order, and he didn't stay in Tennessee and complain about it. He went to Texas, where the child was. That's your number one goal, to be in their life, and you get more custody when you're actually in their life. So your friend, I don't know what his situation is. That's just my gut shot analysis.
After spending $40,000 on lawyers, he now gets summers and then certain holidays, and he flies out to California to then bring him back to Texas, and He's worked it out now, basically, and I'm assuming that eventually the child, when he's older, will choose to live with him. Just based
Could be. I would just say move to California.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your child. That's my thing. So I got divorced.
Oh, we hate California here.
I do too, but you know what? My kids are here, so.
Gotcha. He was trying to get her to move to Texas.
I remember my one friend Ryan had always mentioned how a lot of guys, and I think this is a noble thing that they want their wives to stay home and take care of the kids. But what they fail to realize is that in the court's eyes, they want to uphold the standard of the woman's life, regardless of how she's living. If she doesn't work, they basically want her to maintain that same living standard. So they're going to take the guy for that if they get divorced to make sure that she still maintains that same standard of living. So he's in a certain respect, it's almost better to have both parents working, because in the situation of a divorce, she's not as the capability for her to take as much shit off of you isn't quite as much there, because she already has an income. So she doesn't have the same leverage to pull against you.
This woman doesn't have a job and lives with her parents and doesn't live on her own.
Mm.
Crazy.
I don't know.
Hey,
yeah, some guys
never promise crazy a baby. That's number one goal.
So. don't blow loads and crazy.
It was an accident.
Well,
I'll tell you guys afterwards something I don't want to have a recording of, but I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah, when I hear about situations like this, I always kind of retroactively think, and this is always kind of something to always keep in mind, is just that a an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure, because you'll spend the rest of your life in that kind of situation just
Thank
like,
you,
oh man,
Captain
not gonna do
Hindsight.
it. Yeah, but it's just
Well, but
yeah.
there's things I wrote a Substack. If you go to my Substack, and I do some, it's mostly a podcast out there, but I did write something because someone asked me, hey, what do you think about prenuptial agreements? And, are they good, they bad? And so I wrote about that, but I also wrote how to avoid these kind of situations in the first place. And it's not a cure-all, but, communication with your spouse, your girlfriend, my wife, like my phone here, she can look at it at any time she wants. I treat my DMs as if she reads them all the time. That is the number one cure, because as soon as you have problems at home, which you always have, at some point there's going to be that person giving you attention, and you just never let yourself even have the idea of getting attention from anybody else. And it works pretty good. So that's maybe some life lessons for you young men out there.
What about the prenup though? Because I would like to hear about that. I'll probably just read your article.
Yeah, so a prenup, you can get a prenup, and you basically just change the community property laws to how you want them to be. So it's not a bad idea, I guess, but then, there's always problems of like, you're anticipating litigation if you're doing that, right? So that's part of the problem I see with it. And so, I mean, yeah.
My
I do them all
girlfriend's
the
just financially irresponsible, and
Okay.
and I know the courts are in favor of men, and I don't want to go in with, a positive net worth and in a decent, in her with massive negative net worth, and then have her take then half of my business as well, right? Because like the podcast is my business, and then I have to sell half.
I had James Sexton on, who's like that famous divorce lawyer, and I've talked to him a few times, and he seems pretty certain that prenups are like solid. Now, Tyler, I'm sure you may have a different opinion, maybe you have the same opinion, but yeah, like every time I've heard him talk, he always says no, like prenups are about as good as they should get. And maybe this is a little bit of a controversial take, but he also says like no fault divorce is actually a good thing, because what would happen in a situation where you had to do fault, basically like you would have to find fault for divorce. Basically what that does is just drag out litigation and makes lawyers rich rather than just kind of getting shit over with, which like I understand the arguments on both sides. I used to be of the mind like there shouldn't be no fault divorce, but when he explained it that way, I'm like, oh, actually that kind of makes more sense, because you generally do just make lawyers a lot of money in today's world, at least.
Well, yeah, so I'm sorry. Yeah, this sounds like.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Like, what your opinion on? Do you think prenups are actually like worth it?
Jokes aside, of lawyers making more money, I would hate that. A no fault divorce. We're a no fault state, California, and I would hate it if we weren't. These people are horrible as it is. Now you're gonna have to go in there and talk about like, she was diddling the maid, whatever. I just don't want to deal with that. Yeah. So, is that better for society? That I don't know, but I'm me. This is what I would prefer. Prenups are fine. Like I said, they're solid. You get a prenup that holds. You just can't do something against public policy. So the typical one is like to say, I'm never going to pay her support, even if she were to become, incapacitated. It's like, no, that you can't do this. Or you can't bargain to do something like, I'm never going to pay child support. You can't do that. For the most part, everything could be up for grabs.
I was just saying, like, it's prenuptial, so it's about before. Like, I just don't want to be in a situation where in a situation where it would happen. Obviously, I don't plan on getting divorced, but, like, I don't want to lose half of the shit that I brought in financially.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that what, but I thought that's what it was.
Well, you can do whatever you want. So the typical thing is data marriage to data separation. Anything you acquire during that time, unless it's like inheritance, is community property. So whatever you had before is separate property, and what you have after is, after separation is separate property as well. You can make it where no matter if you've commingled funds, your separate property with your community, it's never going to be, you just delineate what it is, that it's never going to be. It's always going to be separate property. Maybe all your paychecks are separate property unless we put them in a specific account. You can do all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it sounds like to me, you might need to see an attorney if you're going to get married. Yeah,
I'm going to.
You can do a post-nuptial agreement too, by the way.
Oh, no way.
But
yeah,
as
I just don't want to have my freaking, like, my rental business and my podcast equipment, like, taken, and then I can't do my
wanted to
job.
take your podcast mic. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have tens of thousands of dollars of equipment. It's not like it's
You wouldn't be able to guess, but you know, you can't tell. You can't figure out how his mic works.
Maybe like 15. Yeah, I don't use it well, but I have good equipment.
Yeah, same here.
We Amazon, baby, it works just fine.
Yep.
No, I probably have like 20 grand in equipment, computers, monitors, like tables, cords, Procaster.
Don't pick your dick getting crazy, dude.
3
That's all I'm
cameras,
saying.
Blackmagic, Cinema, 4K. I'm just naming things I own now. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
sorry,
he's on
guys.
Pornhub right here. So are you getting married
So
soon? Is this into? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting married soon.
Have you ever
I am.
dealt with any military people?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
They're the worst, aren't they?
No,
Really?
they're not the worst.
I disagree. 3 of us are vets, so we're allowed to say it.
No, I mean the problem you guys have. So let's say you're married and you have a wife, you have some kids, you start getting paid some little BHF, what is it, BAS, BHF, whatever, some COLA, some stuff for your housing, right? And now you're going to do support, and the court's like, oh, that's all income, and you're like, say what? And so it's really bad for active duty military people for support, because it's all about their income.
Is not income.
Yeah.
Like it's
Well,
literally
income is, as we define it here,
Right.
it's any way derived, and then there's some exceptions that are not. So
it's not tax income,
well,
but it is income in that contect.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
That makes
so it's
And that's how they get you.
yeah, it's really bad. I have a guy right now. It's like, it's like $3,500 for housing, and then this is all he's paying for housing and stuff. But they're like, fuck it, this is just, it's bad. Yeah.
Wait.
Jeez.
So if you get divorced, she could take your disability income from the VA?
Well, your
yeah.
income would be used to calculate support.
Good God.
Yep,
Oh,
and that's
Sam.
income, baby.
Sam. Sam's got
Or-
disability. He's got a
Okay.
trauma, head injury.
Okay.
Clearly. if you
Yeah,
haven't
he's
noticed.
fucking retarded, dude.
No, I have nerve damage in my legs, and I have a deteriorated lower back, and I have a torn rotator cuff with a ganglion cyst. I don't have a.
Damn.
Yeah, that's the story we told you, so you don't know that you are mentally
Everybody,
incapacitated as a human being.
everybody, please make sure you vote in our poll going on right now. I just checked on it, and these results are absolutely hilarious.
Oh yeah, I made a
Is it-
poll. I didn't find a time to talk about it, but I said I asked who's the gayest, and I put the 4 of us, not including Adam, and it got 16 votes, and it was unanimous. I think you can guess for who.
Disability.
Oh no, I'm talking about who's the gayest. It's me. I'm
You.
the
Yeah, I was given a hint.
and the dumbest.
He's also the most retarded.
Was that
I
on
also-
your Twitter?
Did you guys hear about this
No,
BS
it's on
from Atlanta?
YouTube.
Like the
What?
airport?
Uh-huh.
I was flying back from Florida. I did Matt Beal's Limitless podcast. It'll be out in like 2 weeks. And I had a 7-hour trip to fly from Sarasota to Atlanta to Connecticut. 7-hour trip. And it took 35 hours. And so I didn't sleep last night because I was fixing my schedule because I came in yesterday at 4:30 a.m. or the day before. And that's why I'm a little bit cranky and gay.
So what happened though? You said you
want me to
didn't tell us
this
what
whole
happened.
story?
Is it long?
It might take a few minutes.
Does it include?
It's fine.
Okay, cool. Good.
We're doing it unless
Go
Tyler
ahead,
had anything
and then
else
we'll
to say
finish it.
because I'm interested in the law stuff.
No,
No.
Are you going to go back to the Europeans and the Japanese? Let's go. Let's hit the story.
No, I'm not going back to the Europeans and the Japanese. Absolutely true, Eamon. Eamon Hussein, you're absolutely correct.
Ayman Hussein.
Is that the mayor of New York?
Is that
Yeah. So what happened was we went to I got on a flight to Sarasota, or from Sarasota to Atlanta to then connect to Hartford, and I got on this flight. The flight was fine. There's a storm in Atlanta. We can't land. First time this has ever happened to me. We diverted to Augusta, Georgia. Land in Augusta, Georgia. a 4-gate airport. We land in Augusta, Georgia, in a 737. I don't think they're meant to go there. And we land at 8 p.m. We sat on the plane until 1 a.m. And at 1 a.m., the pilots timed out. The plane ran out of water. The whole plane smelled like sewage. And then they cut us loose without other flights. Did not give me a hotel. Delta told me they will not be reimbursing me. I'm not sure. If they don't reimburse me, I'm canceling everything with Delta, and I'm not flying on them again, ever. I hate them. I've flown 220,000 miles with Delta in the last 5 years. Ridiculous. I've flown around the world almost 10 times with Delta in the last 4 years, and they won't pay for a hotel. When I get that it's weather, but regardless, there was more things. So 1 a.m., I leave. I pay $50 for an Uber to go to a hotel, pay $200 for a hotel room, sleep in the hotel, get up at 8 because I don't know when my flight is because they didn't tell me. I find out, not even from Delta, but from some other random website, that it's supposed to leave at 1:45. I check in to the airport without a boarding pass because Delta's entire system collapsed. So I check in. I check into the airport at security. The gate agent or the TSA guy had paper lists of names. That's how I checked in because Delta failed. Their system completely failed. No boarding pass. Checked me in on a paper list for 1:45. I find out that the people who were supposed to leave on a plane at 10:30, it's like 11 o'clock. They didn't leave. They're still here. They eventually get out at about like 1:30, and then I find out we're not even the next plane. So they send a flight back to Atlanta. They had to check people in manually. So they sent in a half-empty flight. Delta did this, by the way. Delta, apparently the best airline. No, they're terrible. They suck, and I hate them. And they treat me like crap, even though I'm loyal to them, and not anymore. So they sent a half-empty flight to Atlanta. Then there's the next flight that's going up. They have to do this whole thing again. Eventually, I harass the people on messaging. Like, I'm not being mean, but I'm just hounding them. Eventually I get put on this plane, and I leave to get to Atlanta at 6 p.m. And at 6 p.m. I get over to Atlanta. We land. My flight is supposed to leave at 8 p.m. It gets delayed twice until 10 p.m. Then it gets delayed again until 11, then 12. Get on the airplane. We're all on the airplane. We don't have pilots. And then the pilots are supposed to come, but the pilots time out. And they come on the intercom. They tell us we're canceling the flight.
Oh, my God.
They tell us we're canceling the flight. And then there's a pilot next to me who is... Oh, and by the way, when we were in Augusta, Delta did not know not only where the passengers were, like the messaging app, they thought I was already in Atlanta. I'm not in Atlanta. I'm in Augusta. The people on the messaging app, they don't know that. We get onto this airplane. They're checking us in with a paper list and a phone on speakerphone confirming things through the NATO numeric or alphanumeric alphabet.
That's crazy.
I did not have a boarding pass to get on the plane. It did not work. Their system completely shut down over this storm. The night before, the storm happened initially, but then all of the rest of it was Delta failing at their job. There was the initial storm, and they've continued to try to blame the storm, but no, it was your system, Delta. You guys screwed up big time, and your system sucked, and your employees were amazing. But that's the only thing you do right is hiring. So there's a pilot next to me he can't fly anymore. The federal regulations. He flew too much. He timed out. He can't fly. He has to physically leaves the plane to go physically find pilots. I swear to God, a pilot that was on our flight physically left the plane to go find pilots to fly our plane to Hartford. He finds them. We got saved by this guy. He finds, by the way, everyone's been talking crap about black pilots. These 2 black pilots landed from JFK, sprinted through the Atlanta airport, and the Atlanta airport is one of the biggest in the world. They sprinted Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't think about that. Sprint through the Atlanta airport. The shuttle that they have in the Atlanta airport that brings you between terminals, it's not working anymore. So they run through the airport. They get on the airplane. They fly us. We get in at 3:30. 35 hours of travel for me. And then I drove my Subaru home, and I lied down in bed.
You would have a Subaru. That was the gayest part of the fucking.
I'm from New England.
He read the
That's
poll.
just a car here.
Right.
He read the poll. The poll was
Are you
accurate.
a fucking lesbian?
Yeah, I'll be a lesbian. I don't care.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane, but whatever. It's whatever. It's fine. We made it home. I was alone. It's fine. I didn't have to deal with a baby or a woman, so I'm good.
Cool.
It was insane.
You win some, you lose some.
It was legitimately shocking, but I made a lot of friends. I spent a lot of time talking to different people and talking to the pilot, different pilots. They were, dude, the staff at Delta, top fucking notch. The company, pure garbage.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Traveling right now fucking sucks. It doesn't matter what airline you go on. I feel like they're all just trash.
This could have happened at any other airline. It happened to happen at Delta. I probably will still fly Delta, but I just won't be loyal to any single airline anymore. They don't give a shit.
You can't even be loyal to your own principles, dude.
Yeah, I don't know how you can be loyal to an airline.
I feel like an idiot.
I look for the cheapest
like I
tickets
legitimately
and
liked
go.
this company. I legitimately felt loyalty. I feel betrayed. Like I legitimately do. And I feel
That's
like
what
an
happens
idiot
when you
because
have an
I feel
IQ
betrayed.
lower than an orangutan.
Zing.
But yeah, well, I gotta get out of here. Tyler, thank you for coming on. Can you give us your plugs so people can find where you're at?
Tyler Janke on Twitter. LPR is my show. I used to be called Libertarian Podcast Review. I'm kind of on the libertarian. I do legal stuff and bullshit there. Yeah, find me, subscribe to my show. And by the way, glad to be here. I follow all of your podcasts. Biting the bullet, whatever you guys have, you know. So, isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. What's the name of my podcast?
Something ill scholar. I don't
that's
know.
my
It's in my feed.
It's
and
short
of
for
course,
illegitimate scholar.
Okay, yeah, and then of course Kyle, and not Adam because he doesn't have a fucking podcast anymore. So
I know
this is it.
You just
except for this one. I watched this too.
Yeah.
Does he have?
I think he's coming out with a new one with his friend, and it's about. I think it's probably about sports, which is like mediocre fucking sports takes from New York. You know, garbage.
Right.
I can't wait to hack into his shit and just play that clip of
the Eagles.
The Eagles.
Devontae Smith.
No,
it
was
wasn't
way
Devontae.
before Devontae Smith. It was Deshaun Jackson. 99-yard punt return.
So yeah, you can find me Commentovic on Twitter as always. I'm having my friend Q Anthony Ali coming back on the show for Thursday at 9:30 a.m. It's gonna be a little bit of an early show, and do not bother me this weekend because I will be on a boat getting drunk on Friday the 4th, celebrating like a real American. And of course, check out A Common Crown. We're not playing any shows for a little bit, but we will be opening up for Hinder again in September 13th. So yeah, that's all my stuff.
Yeah. Happy 4th of July to all of you out there. I hope you guys enjoy it. You can find me at Keep It Real Luke, Biting the Bullet Podcast, and that's it for me.
Tyler, did you do plugs?
I did. Thank you.
At The Real Typo on Twitter. That's all I got.
Cool. All right, we're going out. Dude, I'm basically dead now. Like I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
All right.